The voice of the dub.
Don't touch the dial. Leader.
With your host, Dramedy Drew.
You have haters in your own community. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, some of these people would claim to be your friend, right? The people who decided to speak up after the march or after the barbecue or after the Chief Ramsey got invited to the White House, but it wasn't addressed that you guys were invited as well. Now, did Chief Ramsey invite you guys?
We were invited to the White House.
You were invited, okay.
He couldn't make. He had a wedding to perform.
There's a wedding.
So now they're in the works of trying to get that rescheduled so we can go.
Correct. People were getting that mixed up. I did, and I caught that. I seen it. I kept reading because I don't ever fall for the first thing I see or the second thing. I always make sure I keep. And then I seen that Dewan had stated you guys were invited. Yes. But nobody caught that. They only caught that Chief Ramsey was invited. Now, the backlash on that, on all of these things that were transpiring, what effect does that have on you? I mean, the people that know you and the people that are saying, well, did anything get solved? Were there any solutions that happened? Did anything work? Why are we doing this? What effect did that have on you?
I just asked him two questions. What do you suggest, and when are you going to start doing it? And I haven't heard an answer back yet. If what I'm doing is so wrong and you don't agree with it, what do you suggest that I do? And if that's your suggestions for me, then when are you going to start doing it? If that's an idea that you have, do it yourself. It's more than one way to skin a cat. If you don't believe in the movement that AJ and all his friends, me, Dewan, and Brandon, and Pooh, and Bub, if you don't believe in the movement that we're a part of, start your own movement. And if you can't start your own movement, you don't have to agree with the one that we're doing, but why belittle it? Some of the people that I've seen, like you said, I've seen it, and I take all criticism, and I just turn it into constructive criticism. I look at everything going into it like, how can I grow from this? A lot of what people said was valid. You know, some of the people, oh, man, you should have sat down and you should have spoke with the elders and some of this. And I respect the elders in this town, and I really do. And they want me to sit down and talk to them about some things beforehand. The problem with what we've been doing in this town so many times is we meet and we plan. And at the end of that meeting, we plan to have another meeting. And then after we meet again, then we plan to have another meeting. So all we've ever done is meeting and planning. And I'm not shooting shots at anybody. But, again, that lady said she's been here for 82 years, and she's never seen anything like that. Who's been in charge for the last 82 years? And why have we not done anything? So how can you get mad at me for doing something that you had the last 82 years to do? Or if you've only been here for 60, you've had the last 60 years to do. So I don't believe that some of the backlash, I believe it's more emotional than it is mental. Because if you actually sit down and look at it, and if there's been something that's being done in this town that has not been done in its town's history, which has been here for about 182 years, we're starting to begin to do things that have not been done in 182 years. Of course, it's the first time, so it's going to be a little rocky. The first time you start riding a bike, you didn't just take off without training wheels. This is new to us. So we're going to be a little rocky, but once we get going and it starts rolling, and it's going to become a more smooth ride, and then we're going to pick up the speed. And then now once you start riding that bike, we're going to try to take it and see if we can get up the hill. You know, but we have to start. It's going to be a little rocky. We're not going to be able to please everybody. And so when people say the things that they say, I hear it. But at the end of the day, what do you suggest that I do? And when are you going to start doing it?
Now, if somebody came to you with a suggestion and you thought it was a good suggestion, would you put your support behind it? Because right now, you've proven to have an ability to mobilize the people.
Yeah.
You get the people to show up. If somebody comes to you with a good idea, are you going to lend your talent to mobilize towards that? Or
I would have a deep conversation with that person. What is your vision? Are you in this for the long run? How do you plan on implementing this in the community? What are the pros and what are the cons? I've weighed the pros and cons of everything that I've done. The pros and cons of the protest, the march, the pros and cons of the cookout. I weigh the pros and cons. So I want to know before you come to me with a strategy, is there an exit strategy? Is there an entrance strategy? You can't just run into a war without a way to get in and a way to get out. So a lot of people know how to get into something, but then if it doesn't work or it's not going as smoothly, how do we revamp? Say we're at phase 2 of 10 and phase 2 didn't quite work out. Do we go to phase 3 or do we revamp phase 2 or do we go back to step 1? People have to sit down and have a thorough understanding of what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and when they're going to do it. So a lot of the ideas that people bring to me, they might be good ideas, but the idea takes more than just thinking. You have to worry about the actions, the verbal, the mental. You have to be able to think about what you're going to hear. I already knew before I did the cookout, and I already knew what people were going to say. I already knew it. So that's why it doesn't bother me, because this was all foreseen language that I already knew was going to come out.
You know what? You're vocal on a lot of things. You're vocal, and sometimes the way it comes out, it can be taken the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And there's sometimes, to me, it seems like when you do say it, I'm like, he meant it that way. He meant it if it bothered you, then he talking about you. You know, I remember, and I'm gonna take this back to when you started I Got Your Back, mm-hmm. when that began. I remember you saying, first, before I answer that, what happened to it?
I Got Your Back?
Yeah. It's been a little quiet. No,
we were out there marching. We were at the cookout. Okay. Did you see the flyer? We're here.
Okay. Okay. It wasn't as loud on your timeline as it normally was. Let's just say it like that. Mm-hmm. Because I do know that you used to go, you go to the hospitals. You had Spider-Man, mm-hmm. A really tall Spider-Man, and you go visit the kids.
Shout out Lamont Russell.
Yeah. And the turkey giveaway?
Turkey giveaway. We gave away 500 turkeys for Thanksgiving.
Man. And that's amazing. Okay. And I wasn't sure. You weren't as vocal on it. So because that's questions that people were asking as well.
People, we still do a lot of things, but mm-hmm. I try to take the focus off of what I actually do.
Yeah.
Because I don't act alone. Like I said, I'm one of the most humble people that you've ever meet, that you'll be able to meet. So the fact that you were able to really expound on the fact that I've Got Your Back has not been as loud lets me know that I'm doing exactly what I'm trying to do. Because I want to take attention off of the who and put more attention on the why and the what. It was too much who. Oh, I Got Your Back is doing this. I got your back. I got your back. I got your back. And I Got Your Back was leading every sentence. Like, I got your back is giving away turkeys. I got your back is going to the hospital. I got your back is doing a haircut and hairstyle thing for the boys and the girls to go back to school. I Got Your Back is giving away free school
Shout out
supplies.
to Big Dev, by the way.
Yeah. Rest in peace. So I Got Your Back was leading every sentence. Now when you hear it, they're out there marching on 13th. I think that's I Got Your Back. It's a cookout. I think that might be AJ and I Got Your. Now people don't know. They know the what and the why. They guess on the who. So I'm definitely doing my job of pulling away from the fact that it's not about the who. I could care less. It's not about the credit. It's about what we actually get done and how many people we were able to affect. So thank you for noticing that, because I was definitely been working on that. And just you saying that lets me know I've been successful, and what I've been trying to do is take the who out.
Before LT gets to his question, was it about I Got Your Back when you first kicked it off?
No. What happened was it was so much negative energy when I got arrested at the mall. And people were ready to go tear down Town East Mall. And again, I'm very conscious about what I do and how I do it. I could have been like, everybody show up to Town East, let's go tear that MF down. Like LT said, I mobilized people. It probably would have been people that were ready to do that.
It probably would have.
We probably could have did that. But again.
At the time, I might have been one of them.
But again, what can I do to be able to do something constructive? And I live and die by I Got Your Back. Because when you talking to your friends and you want them to know that you're going to be there and help them, what do you say? Like, man, don't worry, I got your back. It's tattooed on my arm. I take it everywhere I go. That's a message to the city. That's a message to the community. Yeah, we're going through a lot. And like I said, in the last 182 years, there have not been things done that we begin to do. But it's a message to my city. I got your back. It's a message to my kids. It's a message to your kids. It's a message to you. It's a message to your parents, your grandparents. It's a message to your grandkids that are not even here yet. This is a message that I want to stick. This is something I want to stick in this community, that IGYB was a very integral part in taking place in some of the change that happened in this community. I got your back. That's a simple phrase that carries so much weight, because at the end of the day, when parents are about to send their kids to school and it's a single mom out there with 4 boys that she can't afford $20 haircuts because it's either groceries or haircuts, and that's a decision that she has to make. Hey, don't worry about it. I got your back. Bring them down here, get their haircuts. We gave away 500 turkeys. We had to turn some people away. That's a message. These are 500 families that really probably were going to either eat chicken or some other meat that wasn't going to be the staple that turkey serves on Thanksgiving meal. So, hey, don't worry about going to get a turkey this year. I got your back. These kids are in the hospital and they're fighting cancer, and they can't get out and be a normal kid on Halloween. They can't get out and go trick-or-treating. And these parents are sitting here crying because their kids can't be normal kids because they're in here fighting life-altering diseases. Hey, ma'am, sir, little kid, little boy, little girl, don't worry about it. I'm going to bring some candy to you. I got your back. So to me, that's a statement that carries so much weight. And so for me to be able to come up with something that I knew was going to be able to stick and to be able to continue to be an important part of this community, it was never about I got your back. But again, I had to find something that I could hide behind, because I didn't want all of the attention to be on me. So I didn't want it to be, oh, AJ's doing this, AJ's doing that, AJ's doing this, AJ's doing that. So again, for the people that say I like attention, I formed a nonprofit organization, an official 501c3 that I can hide behind, because it's not about me. I could easily say, I'm doing this, y'all, I'm doing that, come see me. No, it's I got your back. So do people know that I'm doing this now? Yes. But one day I'm not going to be here anymore. It's my prayer that I got your back and still be here. So again, it's not about the attention, man. It's not about the who. It's about the what and the why.
I want to go back to the cookout. There was a Q&A. Mm-hmm. There were things discussed that were going to take into effect. You alluded that Chief Ramsey was already implementing some of those suggestions. What specifically is Chief Gordon working on to put into effect?
So there's this mysterious thing in Wichita, Kansas that actually exists. It's called a gang file. And the way that you get on there is as mysterious as Casper and all these other ghosts that are going around town. We don't know how you get on there. You just pop up. It could be your shoestrings. It could be an affiliation. It could be anything. But once you're on there, you're there. There's been people that have been on that list for 10 plus years. So if you're pulled over, the protocol that they put you through is way different than just a normal person. You're pulled out of the car, you're searched, your car is searched. It's just a lot of things, because when you pull it over, that name pops up, hey, boom, gang file, and it's a red flag. So if it's so easy for you to get on there, but there's not a cut and dry black and white way for you to get off, we probably need to work on that.
Are you on the gang file?
Were
you? Oh, you are?
There's not a way to get off, so I believe that I am on the gang file.
Man, okay.
I've ran into some things when I was younger that I'm not proud of, but you learn and you grow. So I believe that some of the things that I did in the past land my name at the top. Whether we're going by first or last name, I'm at the top. First name AJ, last name Bohannon. I'm somewhere at the top of that list. So, I mean, like I said, and that's, and it just goes to show, like, who I was is not who I am. So Desmond Bryan asked the question, how do we get off? And will you be willing to set up a program or set up some kind of criteria or to where we can actually get off of that list? And the chief looked him straight in his eyes and said, hell yeah. And he met with the chief today. He's already implementing some of these things into effect, because he can't change the state law or the state policy overnight, but the things that he can have a direct effect on immediately, he started doing those things. And we all know he was out of town for the wedding this weekend. He came back, boom, met with those people today. You can't help but take your hat off to a man like that. He could have gave a lot of lip service. But for you to be able to go to the cookout Sunday, and then Wednesday you leave on vacation, you get back Sunday, then Monday you're already starting to try to make good on promises that you made a week ago, that's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, and I was at the cookout, and I was there when Desmond asked that question. Definitely one of the better questions that I can remember from that session. I think one reason that Chief Ramsey is able to, I guess, empathize is because there's a story I read when he first got to town. He had a bad experience with some of the officers. They were getting ready to introduce him in a room full of officers before they introduced him to the public. And he had a negative experience with an officer inside that room before he got introduced. So, that's a bad first impression. So he probably immediately knew that there was some things going on here. Mm-hmm. But I can respect what he's doing.
We got to know that anything is better than what was going on. And I know that for somebody to say something, somebody to do something is better than nothing happening. And I seen that gang foul. We had some things going on over at Tabernacle and the boys. We had a boys and men's workshop, and I seen that list, and it was pages. And to think that, some of these guys are probably real young or even old, and to have the opportunity to get off that list would be pretty awesome. So I commend you again for having the conversation, or whoever your partner is that had that conversation. Mm-hmm. And again, like the chief that came back to start that. I believe respect is occurring, that everybody that's starting to respect. And I believe that even the community is starting to respect each other, that we got to stick together. I don't know. I'm not a Facebook guru. I'm not a Facebook every minute, but I haven't heard a whole bunch of drama going on in town lately. Yeah. So I think we start in the right direction, not only for the police to respect us, for us to respect each other. And if you don't have nothing good to say,
don't say nothing at all. But see, my thing is, like, even the people that don't have anything good to say, I don't mind them saying stuff, because I don't want to be surrounded by a lot of yes men. Like, hey, you're doing good. Hey, you're doing great. Keep it up. Like, does that motivate you? Like, yeah, everybody wants to be confirmed. I don't care who you are. People can say, oh, this. Like I said, I'm a humble guy. But if I'm having a bad day and somebody walks in and says, hey, my son comes and say, hey, daddy, I love you. That just turned my day around, so. But then again, if I'm having a bad day and my son comes and say, hey, daddy, you was yelling at me at practice, I didn't appreciate that. That's confirmation that, hey, man, I could be doing something better, or maybe I slacked off. So I don't mind the naysayers, because like I said, I take all criticism and I try to, whether they deliver it in a negative way or not, I try to make it constructive, because you can always build off of anything. I don't care what it is. You can always find the good in anything if you look hard enough. So does somebody come to me and say, hey, man, you was out there eating with the police? I can't believe you did that. And you didn't go talk to the elders. They wasn't mad that I didn't eat with the police. They were really mad because I didn't consult with the council of elders. So now I know that there's some people out there that would appreciate if I came to them for guidance. And I'm not against that, because they have a lot of knowledge that I probably don't possess right now at the age of 28. When they're 2 and probably 3 times my age, I could learn something from them. So were they mad that I ate with the police? Probably so. But what was the real root of the anger? What was the real frustrations behind the cookout? There's a certain group of people that I didn't consult with, not even the elders. Some of them were mad because they're like, hey, man, we were at the protest and you told us not to say Black Lives Matter. Or no, you told us not to say Black Power. So there's people that were mad because I told them not to say Black Power. I said it wasn't that I didn't want you to say Black Power, but when I saw what happening, it was in the face of some Caucasian people. But they were with us. So even though there were some people out there that were out there to purposely try to take away from what we were doing, there were also a certain group of people that were there to help push what we were doing. So I wanted to say, hey, man, they with us. We don't have to go in their face and yell Black Power. They understand. Now the guy that's rolling around here in this bike, we can go address him and see, if we can go ahead and move him right along. So, yeah, it was definitely not in any demeaning way was I trying to say that. But like I said, again, it's an education piece. So now I've had those conversations with several different group of people. We've actually had some things that are planned where we're going to try to work together. The conscious group in town, they're going to have a workshop here this weekend, and they actually invited me. And that's one of the biggest divides that I feel that we have, because they have a strong belief in what they believe. Strong belief.
And personally, you brought up Black Power, and I can say that I share in a lot of their beliefs, because when it comes to Black Power, it's more than a saying. It's about, we talk about economics and self-sufficiency. A lot of things that a lot of your efforts go towards what they would believe is a compromise. It's some things that we can't control, that are out of our hands. It's in the control of, legislatures or the authority. But when it comes to Black Power, these are things that we can do on our own.
But like right now, and this is what I want them to understand, that I'm not against building the Black community up. I'm not against the building up the Black economic system here. But again, until we are ready to structure ourselves in a manner that we can be self-sufficient, we have to lean and depend and borrow from somebody else. Like everybody's saying, oh, well, we could build this and this and this and this and that. Well, if you get a loan, you have to get a loan from a bank. Are there any Black banks in Wichita? No. So if we go get a loan to build Black, who are we borrowing the money from?
We got to borrow from the Stingsteins and the Bergs.
Thank you.
The Jewish.
So how can we sit up here and say, oh, man, forget them on Monday, but then Friday we go to that bank with a business loan and ask them, can we borrow some money so we can build for us? Why would I give you money to build for me when you were just talking about me 3 days ago? Chances are you're not going to get that loan that you need to buy Black. Because as much as we want to build the economic system here in this community for the African Americans, we're not systematically structured for a move like that right now. So again, if we call 911, we want the police to show up. If we want to build Black, we got to go turn that loan application and that business plan into a bank that's owned by whites. And that's just the reality of the situation. Does building Black sound good? It sounds great. But are we set up for that right now? No, we're not. So how we can slap somebody in the face on Monday and then try to kiss that same cheek on Friday? It does not work like that. It does not work like that. That's what I'm trying to get them to understand. Everything that they believe in, everything that they want to do, it sounds amazing. If we could ever get to the point where we could do that, that would be great. But right now, we are not set up for that.
No, and I know what you mean. I think I know where you're coming from that point, and I also know where they're coming from.
Yeah,
they know that it's possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
But the reality is of the situation is that it's a behavioral issue with money. We don't know how to behave. We talked about in a previous podcast about how much money goes through the black population of the United States. 13 to 14%. Go ahead.
The Black population has a 14% retaining rate. So that means if I give you $100, you're going to go spend $14 of that with somebody that owns a Black business. Turn the tables. Asians have an 84% retaining rate. If you give an Asian $100, 84 of that is going to the Asian market, to the Asian cleaners, to the Asian nail salon, to the Asian restaurant. $84. So that means that they're going to take $16 and spend it somewhere else. If you give a Black man some money, he's going to spend $16 and spend 84 of that somewhere else. So right now, again, we're not set up for that. It sounds great, but this is my thing. We want to buy Black in this community, but where's there to buy Black from?
The barbershops and the beauty salons.
We don't have anything that we really just the things that we need. We don't have those things in this community to buy Black from. We don't have a Black grocery store. We don't have a Black gas station. We have Black clothing stores, but those are more expensive than the white stores. If you want to buy a Black piece of clothing, it's going to be priced twice as much. How can we say, let's not go to Walmart, let's boycott Walmart, but then the Black businesses that we have, they're not beating Walmart prices?
Well, you got to see it this way. we spend money on Gucci, we spend money on Nike, we'll spend money on all these Michael Kors, all these people that are internationally known. Mm-hmm. But for us to turn down a black-owned business that sees the worth in their product.
Exactly. But this is the thing. You got to watch the movie. It's on Netflix, and it's about clothing and brands like that. And they said that Tommy Hilfiger sold his clothes out of his trunk when he first started. A lot of these people, they and I'm not trying to belittle any black clothing store because I believe that they're all great, but you have to start from the bottom and work your way up. A lot of them start from the top and end up going to the bottom. They'll go and chase these storefronts and they'll go chase these things. And then because you have to maintain rent and bills and everything else, now you start at the top. But then when people don't come and see you and buy from you, then you find yourself slowly but surely, now you're at rock bottom. A lot of this is about sacrifice. Do I want to buy black? Yes, I do. But I have 5 kids. I'm not going to go buy a $25 kids t-shirt for one when I can go spend $25 at Walmart. If you don't want us to buy from certain places, and if we're really going to buy black, then you have to appeal to the crowd that you're selling to.
And this is your circumstance, though, is that you have 5 kids.
It's not even about my 5 kids because if I can afford to buy black, it's not that I can't afford it. But the thing about it is there are people out there that have no choice but to go to Walmart because what black business is going to sell you say a man has to go to an interview right now. You can go to Walmart and get $12 slacks, a $5 shirt, a $2 tie, a $5 belt. You can get a whole outfit for $30 at Walmart. Anybody in this room, can you name a black business where you can go get a shirt and tie from besides the DAV? Can you name a black business that you can get a shirt and tie and a whole suit for an interview for $30 or less? It doesn't exist. The things that we need in this black community, nobody's set up to do that. And then again, if we want to set that up, it goes back to we can set it up, but we're going to have to borrow the money from somewhere. And who we have to borrow from.
The Steinsteins and the Blumenbergs.
Thank you. It's a circle, man. And that's people don't understand that. I said, I'm a thinker. People just say, let's buy black. And they take it and run with it. Pump your brakes. If we buying black, we got to start somewhere. We need the necessities of life. We need grocery stores, gas stations, clothing. You have to eat. You have to have transportation. You have to cover yourself. Those are 3 things that we need right now in this community that would be the most important place for us to start if we're going to buy black. We need a black grocery store, a black gas station, a black clothing store that's affordable.
What if we got together and we rounded up a bunch of black farmers and we put together like a black farmers market?
Hey, check this out. My brother is trying to invest in a farm. My oldest brother, like that's what he wants to do. He used to farm when we lived in California, on the side of the house. My parents let him have his own, like use that side for a garden, right? Mm-hmm. So he would grow all kinds of vegetables and all that. And then we found out he was growing weed eventually. but like he's always been into that, now he does everything naturally. Now he wants to do beer. He's made his own. He does homemade beer. There was a point where he was making his own cigarettes. He don't smoke anymore, or cigarettes. But he wants to invest his money into a farm so that it doesn't have to rely on not just, the stores, but anyone else.
Right.
And we don't have people that want to do that where.
I was going to say, how many black farmers do you know?
That's what I was wondering too.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I said. All this stuff sounds great. But we have to get somebody and educate them and train them on how to be a farmer, how to grow things effectively, how to keep up the crop, how to reinvest the land, how to cultivate the land, how to keep the land up. This is what you need to do in the winter. This is what you need to do in the fall, summer, and the spring. We have to educate somebody right now. There's nobody that's going to say, hey, I'm going to go start a farm, and it's going to be a farm. You might have a season of harvest, but then for the rest of the year, this sounds great, man, but we have to, that's what I'm just trying to get everybody to understand. I support everything black, but we have to take the proper steps to make sure that we're not starting from the top and working our way, find our way eventually at the bottom.
Shout out to Brandon Johnson, though, they got the community garden, so that's a
Yeah,
start.
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Shout out to that.
Yeah.
And he goes out there and the other day before we actually met with the chief, before the march on Tuesday, that Sunday, me, him, and DeJuan met, and we actually had to go to the garden because he was out there picking weeds in the garden. And I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, you do your own garden? So I went to the shed, grabbed some gloves. We talking and picking weeds. Couldn't have been a slave because it was hot out there, man. I only last for about 10 minutes out there.
So with that being said, do you ever see I Got Your Back transitioning from the current movement towards pushing self-sufficiency and black power and things of that nature?
Man, LT, I can see I Got Your Back, man, being a part of a lot of different things. Because we don't have to be focused on one area. But again, before I would willingly put the name and the reputation of something that I've birthed from pretty much day one, and I put my heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears in that, before I was actually able to willingly and knowingly put something out there, I would really need for it to be a substantial amount of education behind whatever it is that I'm going to get myself into. Because that's just like your child. You know, my dad, for instance, they raised me from day one when I was a baby. When it was time for me to go to college, I couldn't just sign and go anywhere. We had to take college visits. We had to go meet the coaches. We had to figure out, what's your game plan? How much is this? How much is that? Tuition, room and board. Hey, what's the party life like right here? What's curfew? And I'm sitting here looking like, man, what are you doing? But these are questions because from day one, my parents put their heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears to raising me up. And they knew that whatever it is that they were going to allow me to get into, they wanted all the information. I feel the same way. I Got Your Back as my baby, man. I've had that since day one. I put my blood, sweat, and tears. So before I just sign off on something, I need to know the curfew. I need to know how much is room and board. I need to know the cost. This is what I need to know. That's my baby. You see what I'm saying? Sure. So I would be more than willing to do that if what I'm going to do is going to be something I know is going to be put not only the organization, but the person's getting it that I'm getting involved with, you know, because I need to make sure it's going to put everybody in a position to be successful. Because my parents told me I couldn't go to a lot of places because I just don't like, you know, that coach said this and this and this and that. I don't think that's the best person for you to be up under, you know. So I'm not just going to put I Got Your Back in somebody's hands or let them come and take over and take something and run with it with the name on it. And I don't think it's the best fit.
I dig it, man. I dig it. Well, I want to be the first to thank you, AJ, for coming.
Yeah,
you didn't have to, but you did, man. I really appreciate you sharing that information. There are a ton of people in Wichita right now that really needed that, really needed that information from you. So I want to thank you for coming. I thank my panel for being here, BJ, LT. All right. We're going to invite you back, man. Hey, man. We'd like you to be a regular.
Yeah, hopefully here in the next couple of weeks or days, just to kind of die down a little bit, man. But, hey, I just want to stress the fact, you know, like, this is something that is going to be very beneficial because this is I can't talk like this to Channel 12.
Yeah.
10. Like, I can actually come here and just say stuff.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Say what you say.
It's just a relief to be able to, you know, get some of that stuff off my chest. But, you know, before we go, man, I just cannot stress enough that this is a voting year. And some of the things that are holding us back are policies, procedures, and laws. So I want to stress to everybody out there that if you don't do anything else, register to vote because there are strength in numbers. If all 1,800 of those people that were out there at that cookout can use that power in the polls, then that's when we're going to begin to see some of the change. We can march until our feet are sore. But if we're marching and we're not voting and exercising our right to vote, we're going to be marching all day long. We're going to cover millions of miles, but we're never going to go anywhere. So it's very important that we get out there and vote, man.
All right. You got any shout-outs?
Man, I want to shout out to you, man. You're doing big things. Shout out to both of y'all on the panel, man. I definitely want to shout out, Elber Costello. Everybody knows him by Pooh. And Bub Love, man. They do a lot of the things in the background that people don't get to see. A lot of people see me, DeJuan, and Brandon, and we do great work, and that's really honest. But a lot of people, they see LeBron and everything like else, but the trainer gets a ring. That's what they don't know. is that when they win championships, the trainer gets the ring, the manager gets the ring. You know, all those people get the rings. They might not have played the biggest role. They were in the background, but they get rings. So I would definitely want to shout out Bub and Pooh. Tijuana, man, she's excellent. She's like my PR, man. She writes a lot of the stuff. You know, I say something, I'll put it down, and she's like, nope, don't say that. You know, so hey, shout out to her, man. She's like a ghostwriter in a sense. Because I'll go to her and she'll like, you need to get this together. So she really helps me out a lot. I mean, and just to the whole city of Wichita, man, what we're doing is going to be life-changing. This is going to be something that's going to go down. They compared the March on 13th to the Dockham sit-in, and that happened like 30-something, 40 years ago. So 30 or 40-something years from now, they'll be talking about the March on 13th. And people, you know, you'll be like, hey, I interviewed that guy, you know. So shout out to the whole city of Wichita, man, because this is going to be something that's really going to be able to change, you know, the whole scenery in this town. I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am. I don't believe it's going to happen overnight. But, you know, if you plant a seed, you can't expect the tree the next day. You still got to water it. You got to cut some of the weeds out around it. You got to give it a chance to grow. So I definitely believe that we planted that seed. And so now we just sit back and wait, man. And hopefully we know I'm here to see that tree blossom. But if not, at least I know that the seed I planted is going to have a chance to grow. And at the end of the day, man, that's what means the most.
That's dope. I appreciate that. You know what, AJ? You're kind of like Batman. And when I say Batman, I mean because you're the hero and you're the villain in the same sense. Like, and Batman was the hero to the people and he was a villain to the police. And in a way, the rhetoric's a little bit changed. But I mean, like, the fact that you are taking those steps and you're actually doing something. You're putting forth the effort. You're going to go research things. You're strategically making moves. But you know that you're going to have haters, which you turn into the villain to them. You know what I'm saying? But nobody's going to like everything that you do, man. So I appreciate everything. I'm sure they appreciate. Y'all got any shout outs?
I just want to shout you out again, man. The opportunity for the Wichita people to hear what they need to hear, to be in the know. It's all about being in the know. Again, educating what the movie's about. You know, it's about us. It's about us. And as we help each other, instead of pulling each other down, I believe we grow stronger. Right. So I'll just shout out Wichita and let's go.
And shout out the Bulldogs, man.
Shout out to the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs for life, baby.
The Bulldogs is going to be live this year. That's what's up. Hey, man, and shout out to the idea of unity, that just everything behind that. And I don't just mean that between black and white, but for the black people, period. Just unity behind us, the fact that we can do things and it's not terrible or it's not frowned upon. Our intentions are good. I like the fact that we have good intentions when we're doing something now. So let's keep that progression going. If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, hit me up on my Dramedy Drew page. That's DRAMODYDREW. Everybody stay locked in to everything that's going on. It's Vibe Wichita.
You know what we do around this time? The voice of the dub has spoken. Thanks for hanging with us and tuning in to Vibe Wichita.
Act like y'all know.
Peace.